Hi, friends. Steve Burke over at Strong Wealth Mortgage. Hope you are doing well. Wanted to take a few minutes and go over what we call a mover buy-up strategy. So this is where we have a buyer that just sold their home, has an inflow of cash, and they want to use all that cash that they just made to put as a down payment. So they're basically taking everything, putting it down on the new house, and then not having anything left over. So our strategy here is that let's take a look at that option, but let's also look at an option of just putting maybe 20% down or a portion of those proceeds that they earned on the sale of their other home, and let's see how that shakes out over time. And there's some pretty cool strategies that we could come up with here. But anyway, so we've got an $800,000. We're going to look at an $800,000 purchase price. So you'll see that as I circle off a little bit there. So 800,000 in the first column, we're going to put the entire amount, 50% down, $400,000. In the second column, we're going to put 20% down, so 160,000 or $640,000 loan amount, right? So the interest rates are pretty close, a little bit less if you put the 50% down. Now we're going to look at the payment breakdown here. All right, so here you've got obviously the principal and the interest on this lower loan amount is going to be lower versus the 20% down by about $1,300. All right, so that's going to save them money each month. But let's take a look at this over 30 years, and we're going to say that okay, you're going to save $238,000, right? So if your cash to close is on the first one, and I'm circling it here, $415,000 is your cash to close with closing costs. But if you put 20% down, your cash to close is $177,000 with closing costs, right? So that's $238,000 different. So we're going to take that $238,000 that I'm circling here, and we're going to put that in an investment account at 6%, right? And we're going to earn interest on that 6% over the next 30 years. So we're paying a little bit more for a mortgage, but we're going to take that entire savings and we're going to put that into an investment account, which we still have access to anytime that we need to in case of emergency or anything else. And then we're going to end up after 30 years, if we just leave it there at 6%, we're going to end up with about $1.433 million. Okay, so $1,433,000 in the bank after 30 years expires, assuming we get a 6% interest rate, which that is under the expected rate for the S&P over the past, let's say, 40 years. Okay, now on this side, back to the 50% downside. So let's say we're saving that $1,300 a month, and we're going to take that $1,300 a month and we're going to put that into an investment account, right? So I'm circling that here. So we're going to take that $1,300 a month, and for the next 30 years, every month, we're going to put it into a investment account also. Well, what happens is at the end of that 30 years, that investment account is worth $1.3 million, so $1,306,000. So it's about $130,000 less you would have at the end of 30 years if you put more money down and just invested that savings versus if you put less money down and put that entire amount of proceeds that you didn't have to use at the closing and put that into an investment account. So that's the power of putting a little bit less down and investing the money in this case. So a lot of people don't realize that potential is there. Now, one other thing I want to throw to you is in this situation with the 20% down buyer, where we put 20% down and we put that money in, that money is in an account again that is theirs. They can access it any time. They have liquidity of those funds. Whereas the person that put the 50% down, at least initially, they're not going to have any liquidity unless they go and cash out or take an equity line or something like that. But what happens in a case of an emergency where, let's say back in 10 years ago, the market crashed and we had a lot of issues and people may have lost their job, they can't access their mortgage anymore. They can't access their equity anymore. So if they're in a position where they put all this money down and they can't make a mortgage payment because they don't have access to any other liquidity or any other funds, the bank doesn't care how much money you put down originally. They just care that you're making your mortgage payment. So they can foreclose if you don't make that. But on the other side here with the 20% down, they have liquidity. They have this investment account that if they want to subsidize their payment for a few months till they get back on track, they can do that as well. So liquidity is such an important thing as well, in addition to savings over time. So Hope this helps, gives you a little bit different insight on the potential of mortgages and what you put down. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.